MyMac Podcast 848. Big differences.
And welcome everyone to the MyMac.com podcast. Now, Gaz, WWDC is coming up in less than a month, so we're bound to hear all about the great changes in Apple's various operating systems for developers. Except there's one that rules above all the others, which we will talk about in the not center section, next section. It's only taken us about 100 shows to get used to not saying, or actually, I guess me, to not say center section. Yeah. What have you got going on today, Gaz?
Today, actually, okay. So this week, let me do what I was going to say first. Now I'll tell you what I've been doing today, and actually yesterday as well. So my eldest daughter has been finishing off one of her bigger assignments for her masters. So has been using the screen. Therefore, I haven't been able to get to or spend much time on MyMac this week. However, I did.
Which is not what koala bears say.
No, they go, chlamydia. They don't say anything. Earlier in the week, I went for a run. I was going really well, and then I went on this downhill bit, and I went really too fast. And at the end, there's a flat bit at the bottom where I was going along the road, and suddenly my tendon in my left leg below my calf started to twinge. So I had to kind of ease up, and I massaged it, my tendon below my calf for a little bit, walked for half a mile, and then ran the last mile. But yeah, I probably did too much. However, on Friday, I did go for a 10-mile tendon test, what I called on my bike.
But on your bike. Okay.
Yes. However, I did also this week, I re-siliconed our shower. So got that done because it's, sometimes I get a bit grubby. So I stripped all the silicone out, cleaned it all out.
You're talking along the edges.
On the edges, yeah.
You didn't just put silicone
everywhere,
willy-nilly.
No, yeah.
It was like,
whoa, yay, this is great
these
fun.
These walls feel really odd.
I got a silicone gun and just pasted it all over the place. But we have got another room with a very similar shower, and I did the same in there as well. So that's and I did that today. She did that today.
Nice.
So not a great deal on my Mac. I've been using the phone and the Mac, the iPad more than anything, to be honest with you. So anyway, how about you?
That will lead right into our next section.
Cool. Well, we're not there
now.
Yet,
a couple of weeks ago, I was telling you about the weird thing with the HomePod Mini, where I couldn't get it to easily come up on the Apple TV that I have downstairs, because I've got like these big ass speakers connected to a receiver, which is connected to the TV set, and blah 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 blah. But in order to just sit down to watch TV, I've got to like turn on all these different things. So I got tired of that, and I got a HomePod Mini, thinking, I'll just match that up with the Apple TV, and then I'm good to go for most of the stuff that I'm watching. It doesn't really matter. Well, couldn't get it to connect, at least not easily. And every single time I try, I would manage it, and then the next time I would watch TV, I'd either forget how I did it the last time, or it didn't work like it did the last time.
Been there.
Yeah. So I put out some stuff on some of the various Facebook pages that I'm on, and I got all kinds of helpful suggestions.
What you do?
Yeah, well, as soon as I said helpful suggestions, the thoughts that went through my head probably shouldn't be repeated. But
did you get any helpful suggestions from either me or Carl?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I FaceTimed with Carl yesterday morning.
You two-timing me?
Yeah, well, you were apparently out on a walk twinging your ankle or your tendon. So I don't know what you wanted me to do.
Early in the week.
So stop twinging and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was talking to Carl, and he asked me if my Apple TV had been updated to the latest version. And I was like, sure, of course. I have it set to auto update. So we go to check, and it's currently on 14.5 my Apple TV was on 14.2. And it's like, wait, hold on a second.
Yeah, but even so, that shouldn't have affected the syncing up. But
well, we don't know. We went ahead and updated that.
Always best to update, of course.
Yeah. And with a little bit of research, we found that what you need to do is you need to go into the Home app on your phone or your iPad and connect up your HomePod Mini, because the HomePod Mini doesn't connect in the same way as the original HomePod. The original HomePod would actually come up as a default output for your Apple TV.
Okay.
Once they were connected. HomePod Mini does not. And I think this might be related to what we were talking about last week with thread connectivity. So,
do you know, this show is so sequential, it's brilliant.
I know. It's like, well, something we were just talking about last week became a problem for me this week.
No, I just meant it's like one comes after the other, really.
Oh, well, it is. Yeah, that's certainly better than going backwards, even though the show's better.
That's
going
sequential.
Backwards.
Yeah.
Backwards in the series. So what I had to do was hit the home button on the Apple TV remote.
Yep.
And select it through that. And then I could set that as the default output, even though with Apple TV OS software, it doesn't come up and say it's the default. It'll still show whatever speakers you had originally. And I don't know why, and it's weird because Tim and Dave on Tech Fan were talking about how a lot of Apple's software has been kind of crap lately, that that they're not really following through the way they should. But anyway, so basically that was the solution, was to go into the Home app in iOS, get the HomePod Mini to connect up that way, and then select it in Apple TV OS. And so, of course, obviously, the other part of the solution was to buy another HomePod Mini.
Of course.
So I could have.
I mean, why? That's obviously the solution.
Yeah, so that's what I did. It just came this morning, but I don't have it connected yet. Though I may.
So have you got it sorted now? Because I thought one of the reasons, or one of the problems you were also having, was connecting your Apple TV to your Mini, your Mac Mini.
No, that wasn't the issue. I never really.
Oh, so all of the advice I was giving you was completely wrong, because when you were talking about the Mini, you were talking about the HomePod Mini and not the Mac
I was talking about the HomePod Mini, not the Mac
Good
Mini.
grief! No wonder you must have thought I was going mad then.
The thing was,
mind you did mention that it was connected by Ethernet. You said both the Mini and the then you said the Mini can't be. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see
right. Because there's no.
Mind you, my
Ethernet
advice.
port.
Mind you, the advice I was giving you about the Apple TV was still sound as far as I was concerned about not connecting it to the Ethernet.
Well, to be fair, the new M1 Mac Mini also doesn't have an Ethernet port.
What?
Doesn't it? I don't think it has. Does it have an Ethernet
yes, it
port?
does. Yes, it does. It just doesn't have the 10 gigabyte Ethernet port.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so
well,
no.
Actually, the old
this is going on far too long.
Right. The old new M1 Mac Mini had an Ethernet port, but it was only the gigabyte. The new Mac Mini M1 has got an option to buy a 10 gig Ethernet port, but it does cost extra.
It's the difference between the old new and the new. And you have to buy for the new, but you can't buy on the old new.
Correct. Perfect.
Everybody got that? Everyone paying attention? All right. Very good. The other weird thing, and this is related to audio, of course. I was, a couple of weeks ago, I was
Shocker.
More than a couple. I know. A couple of weeks ago, I was telling you that I got through eBay a Shure SM7B microphone, and it was one I'd wanted for a long time.
Yep.
So I've got that on this mic stand that I've been using for my premium microphone. But I was having trouble pushing the cable in because the SM7B has this like weird connection. And I was looking at the mic stand that I had it connected to, and I had modified the mic stand so that I could more easily adjust it. Well, as it turns out, when I modified it, I put this one piece on upside down. And there was a tab sticking up, and where that tab was sticking up was right where the XLR cable had to connect to the microphone. And I sat there. I must have looked at it for like a half hour, 45 minutes going, why can't I do this? Well, should I get a file and like file that piece down and figure out and I'm trying to think of all these different ways to modify it. And then I just looked underneath at the other side of this little piece, and it was like, that piece sticking out isn't there. What if I just turned it over? So that's what I did. I felt like such an idiot.
Oh, dear. So, Guy, what mic are you using today?
I'm so glad you asked, Dad. It's not the SM7B. It is a Sennheiser E835, which used to be the microphone that I had in my mobile kit. That's been replaced by a different microphone. This is a handheld dynamic microphone. It's about $100, and it's a really, really good microphone. I really enjoy using it. So of course I replaced it with something else.
How long is this series of what mic is Guy using today going to go on for? How many episodes are we into?
I think we're good to episode 900. I think
right. So we could have several seasons of this then.
No, it won't. I don't have that many. I wish I had that many. I don't have that many.
You have 850, don't you?
So starting next week, I'm moving over from handheld dynamic microphones to handheld condenser.
Oh, so there's been a theme, has there, in the types of microphones you've been using?
Yeah, I've been kind of going through
You didn't say that before. You just dropped that in, didn't you?
It was part of the mystery.
Mystery. It's definitely a mystery.
Or it's something I just made up right now as we were speaking.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery for me, I'll tell you.
It's a mystery why people care about what microphone that I use.
Yeah, it's a mystery. Yeah. Okay.
All that aside,
are we ready for me to go over to Gaz's snippets?
Yes.
We are.
I guess I should have said yes before you.
Or nodded your head. No, not the tips. Not the tips.
Okay.
Okay, so already I've seen clips out there on people saying how to disable an unwanted Apple AirTag.
Why would you have to?
Well, there are possible reasons, but it's only been a week or so, but already there's options out there to,
Well, is this related to someone like trying to slip one on?
I don't care. The point is, it's only been a week. People are either, they say unwanted. So I'm assuming from that, my assumption from unwanted is,
I went out and bought these AirTags, but I don't want them anymore. How do I disable them?
You send them back and get your money, you idiot.
Yes, precisely. Because it's been less than a week. Well, it might have been 2 weeks. Anyway, that was that. That made me laugh. Okay, ready? Did I not put that in? Yes, I have. So this actually comes from Mr. Ming-Chi Kuo.
Oh, good.
Apple are expected to ship 20 million units of the first foldable iPhone in 2023.
Okay, so not the iPhone 13.
Well, 2023,
possibly
still
not
2 years
the
ago.
iPhone SE3, which hasn't come out and there's no rumors about, but possibly the iPhone 14 or SE4 that may or may not come out in 2023. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ming.
Okay. Yeah, he's minging, isn't he?
He is. He's mingy.
Okay, we've got some releases here. Apple have released iOS 14.5.1 and iPad OS 14.5.1, and Apple have released Watch OS 7.4.1. It's a theme here, apart from this bit. Apple has released Mac OS Big Sur 11.3.1. I've done all of those. Well, I haven't done all those. I'm fibbing to you. I've done my phone and my watch. I need to do my Mac and my iPad on those. Now, Apple have said that Apple have said that iOS 14.5.1 and macOS 11.3.1 basically is a patch for WebKit flaws that may have been actively exploited.
And by May, it means it has.
They have, yes. So that is not good, folks. That is not good. Come on, Apple. You need to keep on top of this stuff. It's not good. Not good. Now, there are a few of these stories, and I actually took some of them out, but I'm going to leave one or two in because there's an awful lot of news pieces going around about what has and could have been put into the court case with reference to Apple and Epic. And apparently Apple and Epic once planned a subscription bundle combining Fortnite, Crew, Apple Music, and Apple TV Plus. Yes, I bet they did. I think they probably just had conversations, but that's as far as it probably went.
And then Epic wanted, well, don't charge us for anything then. What? No, that's not how business works.
Okay, Apple has hired a former Google Brain scientist to lead the new AI research unit. Now, this scientist apparently resigned after some colleagues' firings in Google's AI arena. So if that person resigned, did that person then go touting to Apple, or did Apple go, oh, they've resigned, great, let's grab them? Seems a bit opportunistic to me, all of that. There you go.
Well, to me, the big question is, was it the scientist that resigned or his brain?
Very good. I can't answer that question because it doesn't tell me in any
they
article
just don't
I've
give
seen.
us enough information.
They don't. This I liked. Apple Watch is likely to gain blood pressure, blood glucose, and blood alcohol monitoring. That would be good if it does. I have a feeling it won't be doing a third of those. It'll only be doing possibly a third of those in the next release. And maybe yes, and it may be doing that.
And while Gaz does the snippets and I interrupt him, his blood pressure would be going through the roof.
Absolutely. And I could look at my watch and go, Guy, can you stop? My blood pressure is going.
You're killing me,
But
Guy.
I'd like to tell you, the blood alcohol monitoring is easy because they go, I don't know what the time is. I can't see my watch face.
It says it's 2.5 o'clock.
They'll tell on that, definitely. Now, apparently, I picked out this story because it says Apple stock buybacks will help the US equities market as a whole. Now, America, you've got one company. Don't let one company rule the rest of your economy, which is what seems to be happening at the moment. Epic CEO Tim Sweeney admits that the App Store's 30% cut is similar to consoles, and he would have accepted a special deal with Apple.
Of course he would have. So it's like, okay, well, see, Apple, we're giving 30% to Sony and Nintendo and all these other companies. But you being one of our biggest platforms, you only get, say, 10, 15%, right? Is that okay? Is that fine? Tim Sweeney.
Do you remember that we mentioned
more like Tim Weenie?
Weenie Sweeney.
Weenie Sweeney.
Do you remember either last week or a few weeks ago I mentioned about Spain extended the warranty to 3 years?
Yes.
Well, Apple has extended its standard Apple Care plans for Apple TV from 2 years to 3 years.
So the one product that is basically a black brick with a little bit of stuff inside, that goes to 3 years.
Small steps, Guy. Small
Things
steps.
like laptops and M1 machines whose Bluetooth still doesn't work the way that it should.
Small steps. I found this interesting that Apple are likely, they haven't yet, but they're likely to overtake HP as the leading all-in-one PC vendor.
You know,
I'm surprised they haven't already done that.
I know. When I saw, because we were talking about that on the Mac to the Future livecast Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. right there on Facebook. But yeah, but when I read that, I was like, there's someone else that makes all-in-ones? No, I'm kidding. I knew that there were other companies that made all-in-ones, but I'd always seen them like at the big box stores, just kind of sitting there.
Do you know what HP's mistake is there? That if they do get taken over, which I thought they already had them, they should have called them onesies. Apple's Advanced Manufacturing Fund Awards, 410 million to 2 to 6 supporting what? I don't get that.
Yeah, I was reading that along with you, and it's like,
it's a tech company. I must have, Manufacturing Awards. Yeah, it's a tech company.
2 to 6 is a tech company. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I assume so. Yeah,
No, it's a.
Formerly known as Finisar.
They sell candy bars. They make candy bars.
They were formerly known as Finisar. Anyway, they've been awarded a load of money, and it's supporting another 700 US jobs.
Yeah. So
do you remember what I said earlier? $410 million
for 700 jobs.
Yeah, I bet there's some backhanders going there on the product.
Maybe.
Apparently 6.4 million Americans are now Apple Card holders, Guy. 6.4 million.
That's not true. That's not true.
Is it not?
It's 3 people. Each one of them have like 1 to 2 million Apple Cards.
Now that wouldn't surprise me. Apple TV Plus lands a second Tom Hanks feature film. It's a sci-fi adventure called Finch. Now, what I find funny about this is I used to play rugby. I used to play rugby, and Finchy.
Well, you still referee it.
I still referee, but I don't actually play. I'm not one of the teams trying to batter 6 types of death on the other.
Yeah, anyway, probably just as well at.
And if he's listening, Finchy used to be a good prop forward. He used to be my prop. Anyway, Apple TV. That's got nothing to do
with rugby.
No. With this.
Now I'm picturing Tom Hanks on the pitch. Running away from people with an odd-shaped ball. That's what I'm picturing.
Apple TV Plus thriller Servant is nominated for a 2021 TV Choice Award. Billy Crudup.
Never watched it.
Billy Crudup is to star in an Apple TV Plus retro future dramedy, Hello Tomorrow.
Wait. Retro future.
Yeah. It's to star in an Apple TV Plus retro future dramedy, Hello Tomorrow.
See, I first have to get through the explanation of what it is before I could actually watch it. It's like, what? So it's a retro future drama comedy. Hello. It's like you're throwing too many memes at me at one time.
Do you want to quit? Synopsis on it. The show features a group of traveling salesmen who are hawking lunar timeshares. I'm so looking forward to that. There's a study been out using Apple's night shift to improve your sleep. Don't bother, apparently, because it doesn't work. So, yeah. Judd.
Yeah, Judd Nielsen.
Judge has scolded Epic Games lawyers as Apple exec takes the stand. Yes.
Had anyone actually said anything, or was he just like he stood up to get up to the stand, and it was like, "Don't you do it, Epic? Don't." Yeah,
I did read a bit about this, and it's basically the I think they're coming up with really little snippets of like, oh, they're not very nice, are they, Apple? You can't just come up and say that. I mean, it wasn't quite like that, of course, but
it was in that voice. It was in that voice.
Yeah, this is the Epic lawyer. They pulled my hair.
They took my pudding. And the judge is like, they didn't take your pudding.
Get back on the stand. Okay. Phil Schiller on the App Store knockoffs in 2012. 2012, that's like 9 years ago, Guy. Is no one reviewing these apps? 9 years ago. No,
well,
I think
that's something we're going to talk about in the next section. Okay, but honestly, if you have an application that hasn't been updated, in 4 to 5 years, just remove the app.
Unless you really, really
Apple.
need
No,
it.
Apple should remove the app. If it
Oh,
hasn't
I
been
know. Oh,
updated in all
no.
that time.
Oh, no. Let's have that discussion because I'm not happy with that. It's down to usage. Got to be down to usage.
Who's Sidge? Oh, you.
You really didn't get that.
No.
Sorry, usage.
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 You. Sidge. Usage. Got it.
No, but actually,
Oh
back in the 80s or 90s, there was a drive by the UK government because they were selling off the gas, which used to be a national owned organization, and basically,
gasoline.
Yeah, gas. No, gas.
Natural gas.
Yeah, natural gas.
Okay.
And it was, we call that petrol, what you call gasoline. And one of the top lines to get people to buy shares was, "Have you told Sid?" That's you, Sid. Apple Card. That's got no relationship at all. Apple Card family members can order their own titanium card. Likely to come with iOS 14.6. Well, that means they can't order it then, can they?
Not yet.
God, I just
analysts.
It's Apple Card family members can order their own titanium card, likely coming with iOS 14.6, so they can't order.
Not at the moment. What kind of plan is that outside? Over to your shoulder.
Clematis.
Yes.
It's not a tomato.
Which is funny for reasons that no one will ever understand.
Well, they may or may not. Yeah. Okay. Analytics suggest 96% of users leave app tracking disabled in 14.5. Unsurprisingly, almost no Americans are opting into app tracking. WhatsApp apparently gives up on forcing users to accept the new privacy policy.
Because
I've got to say, guys,
using it.
I've turned that on so that I get the request to actually from all of the apps, because until you turn it on, you then don't get the request for it. So they're doing something in the background. I think it leaves it on its standard. So you best go into settings, privacy, and turn it on, and then you'll get lots of, oh, you must do this. And Facebook, especially, and Instagram say, oh, please turn it on because else we'll have to start charging people.
Wow, that sounds just like Epic's lawyers.
Yeah. Anyway, I go through and say, okay, don't track. Anyway, it looks like a lot of people are doing that over in the States as well. Apple exec, we feature competitors' apps all the time on the App Store. Yeah, you do. Yeah. That's because you haven't got enough apps, Apple, to feature all of your own all the time. That's me being a bit cynical there, I think. The Fortnite trial is exposing details about the biggest iPhone hack on record. Now, I did read a bit about this. Now, let me see if I can. This wasn't very good. Okay, so as part of the trial against Epic Games, Apple released emails that show that 128 million users, of which 18 million were in the US, doesn't tell me how many in the UK, of course, thanks, downloaded apps containing malware known as Xcode Ghost from the App Store from a report in 2015. Unknown hackers snuck malware onto thousands of apps in the iPhone App Store at the time. Researchers believed the hack had the potential to impact hundreds of millions of people. Given that it affected around 4,000 apps, according to the research estimates. And it goes on. So I hadn't actually heard about that. I don't know if you already knew about that, but I hadn't heard about
honestly,
that.
We probably talked about it some time ago, but it was one of those things where it was like, oh, Apple took care of it and got rid of all those apps.
And that's the point that this doesn't go on to. So actually, they may not have to have gone that, but I'm pretty sure that they probably sorted that out and got it sorted. I hope they did anyway. Correct us, people, if we're wrong there. Apple hires a new vice president of worldwide corporate communications. I have got the name of this person here. I think
Sal Sagoin.
Stella Lowe.
We could make fun of that, but we're not going to.
Apple rejected approximately 35% of apps submitted to the App Store between 2017 and 2019.
Probably because they had
Probably.
that malware on it.
Probably.
It's like,
Okay.
take that off.
Yeah, that's been there too long. And now Google follows Apple yet again, in requiring developers to have app privacy labels. And that is the end of Gaz's snippets. Now, I haven't got a Gaz's link this week. I've got something else in whatever we have later. I can't remember the name of the piece that we do now.
That thing.
For pit's sake, that's it. For pit's sake. But I'm going to reiterate that I think the EU is putting my risk and my ability to be able to choose a secure and reliable environment that I've chosen. So Spotify and the EU, if you want to play the game along with what I'm sure is other people who will continue to call you out or bastards for putting my security in jeopardy. Now, this goes to the Spotify. You missed. Yeah. The more I hear about this Spotify EU thing, the angrier I'm getting, actually. I'm really fed up because this.
Well, here's the thing. The problem is the people that are making these decisions don't understand the technology.
Well,
and I'm not talking about Spotify. Spotify knows the technology.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They're using their ignorance of technology to their advantage. Yeah, for money, of course. Absolutely. And it's not like Spotify doesn't have a point in that they're trying to compete with Apple in Apple's own App Store, which, that's fine. And the fact that Apple is getting a percentage from
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
Does Amazon charge you to sell things in their store?
Yes.
Do they dictate how much you can charge for that product?
They do not.
Oh, yes, they do. Yes, they do. Oh, yes. You have to opt out of that process if you're a reseller. You have to make sure, because they can actually dictate the price of your product. Now, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, those are rules which
really.
You didn't say anything. Now, the thing is, the point I'm making here is, they're Amazon rules, right? Don't tell me Amazon haven't got a monopoly, because they damn well have.
Oh, they do.
And
in many arenas.
This whole process really winds me up, because the EU, and I've told you, I'm a big believer in the EU and the processes and the way it looks after consumers, but they have got this so wrong. It really is annoying. Really is annoying. But anyway, that's rant over.
For now.
For now, yeah. Take us out, Guy, before I get even angrier.
Everyone stand by to just stand by, and we'll be right back.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the second section, part two of this week's mighty MyMac podcast with the G-Man Guy over there in good old DC, and me over here in little old Bringhurst. Guy, you want to talk about the App Store this week, do you?
Yeah, I was kind of searching for something for us to talk about, and I ran into this, and it's related to a couple of things that we were talking about in the previous section. One is the Apple versus Epic court battle, and in the course of this trial, there's been some really interesting information that's been released, and one factoid was that Apple has only 500 people to review all App Store submissions, which typically receives over 100,000 submissions per week, which is why probably most of the App Store submissions, especially the ones related to updates, probably aren't looked at by a real human being. It just kind of is looks at, they have some kind of software that looks for the obvious things, and if something comes up, then it gets flagged and sent to a real person. But for the most part, it just kind of goes through, is what I think happens.
That's only about 5 an hour. They can do that.
Yeah. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
No. I just calculated that out on a working week, and they can do that.
What, 100,000 submissions over the course of a week would be 5 an hour.
100,000, right? How many people have got 500?
500.
So if I divide 100,000 by 500, right, that comes down to 200 per person
per week.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. That's 200. Divide that by 5 days working. That's 40 a day. Divide that by an 8 working day. That's five an hour.
Okay.
Get on with it. I don't know what they're messing about at.
All right. So
no. Obviously, there's a lot of detail that goes into that. They can't just go, "Oh yeah, I like this game."
I'm gonna need more time with this game. Click, 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 click. And this story came out of 9 to 5 Mac. There'll be a link in the show notes to get to the actual story. The Epic versus Apple case is highlighting the huge differences between Apple's operating systems in terms of developer engagement. And in the example given from November of 2019, there were 59,000 apps submitted for the iOS store, with 15,000 of them being new. So about 25% of those were new. In comparison, the Mac App Store had 681 apps, with 152 is new. So a little discrepancy there. And then for the Apple TV, 142 apps, with 27 is new, and a total of 73 apps for the WatchOS. And for 2019, listen to this. For 2019, there were, well, what have I got here? There were, that's supposed to be TV. There were 10,000 Apple TV apps.
Wow.
There were 27,000 Mac OS apps, but there were over 1 million apps for iOS. So why do you think, Gaz, that there was this huge discrepancy between the app stores? Why were there so many for iOS and iPad OS by extension, and the other app stores?
Easy to submit, marketplace, the amount of users, possible money that you could make out of it. I don't know, all of those things combined. What, are you going to tell me, or was that just a rhetorical question?
I was curious as to what your
well,
opinion on it was.
What do you agree with what I've said there?
I do. I also think that part of it as well is that you have, unlike with the Mac OS and Android and Windows, with iOS, there's typically just one way to do things as far as coding goes. So it's probably easier to sit there and say, okay, well, I've got this application and it needs to work in iPad or iOS versions, blah, 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 back through blah, blah, blah. And if they need to make changes or they need to update it, they only have to worry about the devices that will run on those operating systems, which is going to be relatively small as compared to something like with Android, where who knows how many different phones there'll be out there with different versions of Android and different versions of, crapware that manufacturers will put on.
Yeah.
But even pushing that aside, it's kind of the same thing with the Mac OS, because people hang on to their Macs for a very, very long time.
Right.
You don't just, I still have a laptop from 2013 that still runs at least Mac OS Catalina. So you have to be aware that, you have to worry about 16-bit versus 32-bit versus 64-bit and all the different versions of the OS and all the different types of software or hardware that's out there. So it's much more difficult. For the Apple TV, it's probably easier, but it's one of those things where who cares?
So do you think that that was also part of the reason that Apple think it's a good idea to port some of those apps over onto the Mac, because people can then use them on the Mac as well? So it means their interaction with the Mac will become more, which might then encourage more developers to go, well, actually, this app's being used on the Mac, if they can see that information.
Yeah, we're actually going to get into that in just a minute.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
I didn't read ahead, honestly.
So, the other thing is, what makes the iOS as an app store so much more inviting than, say, the Mac? I guess we already kind of covered that.
Yeah.
And why wasn't the Apple TV App Store getting more games submitted? And right underneath that, these were the requirements in 2019 for the Apple TV. And some of this has since been changed or modified. Games that support game controllers. Apple has created specific requirements that you must follow for any game that supports game controllers. These requirements are designed to make sure that the games are always playable. Your game must support the Apple TV remote. Your game may not require the use of a controller. tvOS games that support controllers must support the extended control layout. All controllers for tvOS are non-form-fitting extended controllers. Games must be playable using standalone controllers. If you support an extended controller, the game must be playable solely with that controller, and you must support the pause button. So most of that has since been changed. But I think the biggest thing of all of those was the very first one, where your game must support the Apple TV remote, which is a terrible controller for playing a game. It's just garbage.
Yeah.
So those kinds of things, and especially because this was right when Arcade, I believe, was coming out. And I think Apple really had a boneheaded move by requiring that all of these games that were going to go into Arcade also be able to be played with the Apple TV remote if they were playing it on the Apple TV. So you were kind of forcing developers to develop possibly for a platform that they didn't want to support. So I think a lot of them just said, we'll just not do it. And so I think they didn't. So as you were talking about earlier, this is probably part of the reason why Apple has made such a push into getting iOS and iPadOS apps onto the Mac, either through recoding the app directly or through macOS, the macOS compatibility layer known as Catalyst. And I think it was WWDC in 2019 when they first started talking about this. So what we have now, as far as iOS and iPadOS applications that can also be used on the Mac, is kind of the second or third generation of these games. So can they be used directly into macOS? Has the developer recoded it to work in the macOS, which is really the best way to go? Or are they using the compatibility layer known as Catalyst, which is the easy way to go? And I think going forward, Apple will start to kind of push developers into you have this application, whether it's a game or a utility or whatever, that you're selling or making available through iOS and iPadOS.
Yeah.
If you want to extend that to the Mac, recode it in Swift or whatever the programming environment is, so it'll basically play natively or work natively in the Mac OS. Because I've tried some of these apps in the Mac OS, and if the developer, a good example is Among Us, that game Among Us. You can't use keyboard controls. It's kind of the team game that more or less took over when Fortnite was booted out.
Okay.
So it's you can have up to like 8 players, and you run around on a spaceship or whatever, and one of the players is a killer, but you don't know who it is. So as he's killing the other players, you guys have to figure out who it is and boot them off the ship.
Who done it?
Who done it? And it's actually a fun game. There's lots of stuff on YouTube if you want to see how the game is played. But it plays for crap on the Mac OS unless you have a controller or you have some other way to do it, because it doesn't support keyboard controls, which would make it much easier for, I think, most people that are trying to play it on the Mac.
Yeah.
So that's kind of some of the stuff that's come up so far in the Epic versus Apple lawsuit. And a lot of this surprised me in that Apple talks about these applications as being, well, it doesn't matter. You can play it in iOS, you can play it in the iPad OS, you can play it in the Mac OS, you can play it in tvOS. So they're trying to get these apps to become like all universal. It doesn't matter what platform that Apple provides that you play them on. But because of the differences in the way that you manipulate applications, whether it's games or utilities or whatever, on the different platforms, this doesn't always work out. So there's more work to be done. And this also kind of leads me to believe, Gaz, that this is why Apple is kind of starting to push the iPad and the iPad OS to become more Mac-like. I think we're getting close to a convergence of these two operating systems, and soon it might not make any difference whether you're on a Mac or whether you're on an iPad.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are really trying to understand why there is a 1 terabyte iPad with 16 gig of RAM, because I think you have to buy the 1 terabyte version to get the 16 gig of RAM. And a lot of people now saying, why does an iPad need that much RAM? They're thinking that something big is coming.
Yeah.
Now, what that big is, we don't know. But
might find out next month. WWDC.
Yeah, I mean, Apple keeps saying that they want to keep the two systems separate in terms of, identification. But there will be a lot more, I think, synergies between them. Let's use that nice word.
Yeah.
Between the applications, between the formats and and I think that's just going to continue, and it kind of makes sense as long as they don't disable some of the capabilities that the Mac has over the the iOS arena. Unless the iOS arena becomes as capable as the Mac environment. And then you've got to ask yourself, okay, do I just need a screen that I plug my iPad or my phone into moving forward?
Yeah, which is something that I've been talking about for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is where general computing is going. You've got a computer in your pocket.
I think we're still a long way from that actually happening.
Probably. Yeah, probably. I would agree with that.
Cool. You would agree? I'm nodding my head. Hit it. Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
It's time for
Gaz's tip.
Smoothest intro in weeks.
In weeks, possibly months.
Probably.
Okay, 4 keyboard shortcuts, all on the Mac. And some of these are reminders for folks. Command F, open a find window or find items in a document. So Command F, folks. Use it or lose it. That's what Apple told me. So if you don't use it, they're going to take it away. So it'll never appear again. No, that's not true.
You didn't use it right, so you don't get to have it anymore.
Yeah. Command Option H. This means that you can view the front app but hide all other applications. So if you suddenly want to focus on just one app, Command Option H should do the front app, which should be the focused app, and basically it just hides all of the other apps. But be careful, because if you've got lots of other apps open, you'll then have to go to the menu bar to bring them back up. So just be careful on that one. But it could be useful for you to focus. Now, when you're in a document, Shift Command : that's the 2 little dots, right? The 2 little.
Oh, not a colon.
Not a colon.
Okay.
Colon.
That makes much more sense.
This actually displays the spelling and grammar window. Okay, Shift Command : displays the spelling and grammar window. Command semicolon.
We all
That's the
know what a
one.
semicolon is.
That's the one with the dot and the little comma below it. That finds misspelled words in the document, and I think I'm going to nod my head there.
Before we go any further.
That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips.
Is that the end of the tip?
Will you let me finish?
Now,
Gaz, you are absolutely right.
What is wrong with that man?
Yeah,
Not with Gaz.
No,
it's not Gaz's problem.
No. You go first on the for pick's sake. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, yeah, that's the link, isn't it? Yeah, you go first on your pick's sake.
Okay.
Unless that's. Oh, we talked about this some time ago, didn't we?
We did.
Morning. Hit me.
The if you're a streamer or you need to use a VoIP app and you can't find a suitable web camera, you can always use your iPhone or like an iPod Touch if you get the Incubate. Oh, what is the name of that app now?
Reincubate
Camo app. You need it for your phone and you need it for your Mac. And you don't necessarily have to spend any money because the free version will get it on your Mac. The paid version gives you all kinds of options for adjusting the quality of your picture. And I use it. I've got it on right in front of me, but I'm not going to switch cameras. But I could if I wanted to.
Could.
And it looks, and remember, Gaz, I use this with like a 3 to 5 year old iPod Touch, and it looks great. It looks fantastic. So Camo is the app, and you can get it for free.
That's cool. Now, I've actually been watching a few. In fact, we could talk about this. We'll do this for the after show. I'll talk about For All Mankind in the after show. Okay. I've suddenly started watching it. Suddenly, I've started.
Me too.
This week. I've also been trying to watch Trying as well. Very funny. Anyway, that's Apple
Trying.
TV.
Where the two people are
the couple are trying
to get pregnant.
Yeah. Well, not
that
two.
I
mean, it's just her.
Yeah, that very first episode when they're in the park, hysterical. So funny.
Anyway, I have also seen on YouTube, I don't know how this popped up, but it's a flat earth debunker. Okay. Now, if anybody listening to this,
that's necessary, but
like that's necessary. Well,
but
it seems
actually
to be.
Is.
It actually is. Now,
because
if anybody's listening to this,
are really stupid.
If anybody's listening to this and you're a flat earth believer, I don't care.
Listening to our show.
Stop listening to our show. You're an idiot. All right?
You are.
You're an absolute idiot. And I watched this. It's called Simon's Damn debunking video. Now, what this guy does is, and there's a few people that do this, but I quite like this guy. He's a Brit, and maybe I'm biased on that. But he basically gets the videos, and he's obviously a scientific guy, and he basically debunks all of the the bits that they bring in, and they say, well, it must be flat because, and they don't tell you about this, and he says, yes, we do, and here's the proof, and this has been done before, and this is how it's been done, and here's the science behind it, and it's just brilliant. Anyway, he's got about 400,000 subscribers, this guy who debunks flat earthers. And this most recent one, I watched it, and one of the bits on it was they were talking about search results, and they were saying that Google is now hiding search results because flat earth searches were at this massive level. And he came up with some options, some of the other searches that he said, no, I think you'll find that searching for this is now more popular than flat earth searches, and some of them were quite funny. So just go over and just give this video a like, because what he's trying to do is get this to so many likes before this video actually comes out, and he's got a series he's going to do I think 3 episodes to debunk this flat earth video. And if you're listening to this and you're now really angry with us because you're a flat earther, we don't care.
puts you right up there with sovereign citizens, dude.
Yeah. It's so
There's another group. There's another group of videos that'll just totally hack you off.
yeah. And if anybody tells me again, I've got a school colleague as well. He told me, he said, I'm not sure they landed on the moon. And I wanted to strangle him. I absolutely wanted to strangle a guy. Oh, yeah, they've never been back. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, you can't actually see any evidence. Oh, yeah, it's only NASA. It's only NASA that's sending people. Yeah. And I really want to strangle it. Anyway, this kind of got me into watching the For All Mankind, and we'll do that as the after show.
Can I say just this one thing as far as the landing on the moon thing?
Yeah.
At the time that the U.S. and NASA claimed to have landed on the moon, they were in competition with the USSR over who was going to be first, and because of the, and again, quotes, prestige of being the first to land on another planet. US got there first. Russia stopped trying. If it had been fake, don't you think Russia would have been screaming about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And all the thousands of reporters that actually it would have been debunked. It's just mind blowing that people think
about. Same
these
thing
things.
with some of these people with 9/11. It's the same thing with
it's absolutely mind blowing. Anyway, that's a completely different podcast.
Yeah.
We're not going to do today.
We see right now what we're doing. We're trying to piss these people off enough so that they'll call our Skype number, which is 1-703-436-9501. You can call it. Give us 30 seconds as to why flat Earth is a thing.
Yeah,
we will. We'll put you on the show, and I'll give you a Woody, even though you're an idiot.
You'll get a Woody.
I will make a special Woody for anyone who calls in with flat Earth stupid nonsense or sovereign citizen stupid nonsense.
Yeah.
Keep your comments under a minute, please.
Yeah.
If it's over a minute, we're not going to play it because
we're
not going to let you go in. Oh, very much so. And please don't curse, because then I have to do this all the time. Don't. It's a pain in the ass.
Oops. Guy, let's move on quickly.
Okay. All right. Moving on. If you'd like to contact the show, no, I'm kidding. Do an iTunes review. And now we're just going to get slammed in iTunes. If you do an iTunes review, let us know about it, even if it's from flat earthers who are saying that we're full of crap. And let us know. We'll read it. We'll read the review on the show. And you'll get something back, which is a Woo T, big W, big O, big T, little I, little E.
Bagum.
And if you'd like to help support my Flat Earth Society, all you have to do is go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/MacParrot, coffee, ko-fi/MacParrot, or PayPal, paypal.me/MacParrot. Yeah. If people wanted to get a hold of you and say, I'm a sovereign flat earth 9/11 debunker and I want to talk to you, don't. Number one, don't.
No, don't.
But if they wanted to, how would they do?
Yeah. Well, send an email to gaz@mymac.com, GAZ. MyMac.com, or on the Twitters, twitter.com/Gazmaz, GAZ, MAZ. You can also contact Guy and myself on the Twitters, GUYAND, Guy and Gaz. You can also send an email to feedback, FWDBACK, at mymac.com. Now, Guy, don't. Yeah.
No fool.
No, because.
Wait, hold on. I screwed up.
No, not this week. You didn't. No, because this week you.
He's the guy.
He is, yeah.
Guy.
Yeah,
he's the guy.
He is.
You remember Guy?
Yeah, if they want
an email from Guy.
How would they do it?
I'm actually kind of proud of the show this week. I think it struck the right balance of funny and serious. That's what I like to think. Anyway, if you'd like to send me an email, you can send that to Guy@mymac.com. I don't know why it's like Guy@mymac.com. You can reach me on the Twitters. I have 2 different Twitter accounts. I have MacPettit, and I also have VertShark. You can go on over to the vertshark.com website and see all of the audios and videos, or most of them anyway. And we have a Skype telephone number, Gaz.
Yeah,
We
it might be busy this week.
Yeah, no, I'll have to restock it with some money. You can make me spend money, all you people, just by dialing 1 or +1 outside of the United States. 703-436-9501. Actually, that won't cost you money. If you do it that way.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, if you do 1 or +1, 703-436-9501, that's not going to cost me a dime. But if you go to the Skype app, number 1, and this will make so many of you so happy, you won't have to dial the 1 or the +1, which will allow Google to track you through your vaccinations. Okay? Because that's a real thing. And then just dial 703-436-9501.
Bill Gates is tracking you.
That's right. And I think Melinda found out.
Melinda found out she's being tracked.
That's right. And that's why they're getting a divorce. That's exactly it. So thank you. Thank you all for downloading and listening to the MyMac.com podcast. We really, really do appreciate the fact that you have taken the time to do so. And Gaz, I think we're good enough. Yes. And I think the earth is flat enough so that we're smart enough. And that Wilf Gonnet, woof, woof, Wilf.
Woof, woof, Wilf.
Love that little dog. People like Wilf and us.
El Silly Atu owner for Gofi Lemali P Lava Lemu. Na Uemali Aine Aso. I didn't say that with any sort of accent at all.
Not at all.
What did the green grape guy say to the purple grape?
I don't know.
Oh my God! Breathe! End.
So you can all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on home and go home.